Yo, your boy YouTube. Yo, I mean, oh my shit. Oh my goodness, forgive me. Um, yo, YouTube, your boy Play is back. I got a new video today. This is pretty much a video response to Melly Mel. Yeah, man, what's up, man? Yeah, man, I posted a comment on your video on beliefs, and now you got a video on religion. The day before you actually did these two topics, I had a video. I recorded a video of me, basically, or I did a video. Well, basically, I recorded my voice, and I was talking about the same stuff subject too. I was talking about religion and belief because me and my friends were having an argument about religion and beliefs and stuff like that. Now, I got an opinion about religion and belief and stuff like that. It's just an opinionated opinion about it. But before I got tell you that opinion, I'm gonna tell you this series of questions, and this question I'm about to ask you is very, 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 very complicated. It's very complex. I'm pretty sure a lot of people out here probably wouldn't even understand it. I told some of my teachers, I told my friends this question, and they themselves almost couldn't even answer it. They came up with so many answers for it. But anyway, let me get to the point. Okay, all right. Let's just say everybody that, well, let's just say now you can agree with me that words come from thoughts, right? Everybody agrees with me on that. Yeah, they do. Words come from thoughts. Now, let's just say, all right. Let me see here. Now, you can agree with me that human beings can learn a language, right? You would agree with me that all human beings can pretty much. I mean, humans can learn a language. That's cool. Okay, let's just say there's one universal language. Okay, now that means that universal language could be anything. And let's say, for example, that one universal language is English. Okay. Okay. See where I'm going with this? Now pick a word in English, whatever, and remember that now the one universal language is English. Now let's just say that you know what that means, that we all speak the same languages. We all understand each other. We all understand each other because it's only one language due to the fact that I just said there was one universal language. Okay? All right, let's just say you pick the word apple, for example. Okay. Now, would you still believe in that word if it didn't exist? If the word apple itself didn't exist, would you still believe in that word? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't even identify what apple was. You wouldn't even know what an apple was. You wouldn't even think what an apple was. If you didn't think what apple was, that means you wouldn't have the thoughts of apple. Thus, apple wouldn't be a word. Okay? See what I'm going with this? Yeah, you could take another word, for example. Let's just say, since we're on the topic about religion, God. I don't have any doubts in God or anything like that. But if that word God itself does not, if the word didn't exist, would you still believe in God? Most people would probably say no, or a lot of people would say no. You know why they wouldn't believe in God? Because the word comes from a thought. And if that thought, if we didn't have that thought of God, then God wouldn't be real. In my opinion, that's what I think. If we didn't have the thoughts of God, God wouldn't be real. The word itself identifies God. Now, you can't just say, now you're probably thinking like, you can't just say words themselves mean everything. I'm not saying that words themselves mean everything. I'm talking about thoughts. Our thoughts. If you were listening to what I'm saying in the video, pretty much you would pretty much agree with me that we live in one universal language. Everybody can agree with that. We live in one universal language. No, we don't. No, we don't. Well, man, there's Chinese, there's Korean, there's this, there's that, there's this. We live in one universal language. How can you not understand that? Do you not realize that one universal language is language? Without language, we wouldn't identify God. How would we identify God if we didn't have any language to communicate with each other? If we didn't have any communication, we wouldn't have thoughts. And I think that if we wouldn't have thoughts, we wouldn't pretty much have a brain. And if we pretty much didn't have a brain, which our brain is pretty much unique, the human brain is pretty much unique. And if we didn't have a human brain, we probably wouldn't be human. And if we wasn't human, then we'd be nothing. Okay? Now you understand what I'm saying? So pretty much, if you have, everybody themselves can have a disbelief about God or whatever. Or they can say, oh, I don't believe in God. God's not real. God's not this. God's not that. Well, okay, here, I see where you're going. You can disbelieve this or say God's this or that, or have multiple gods. That's okay. That's cool. Okay, but in your mindset, if you did not believe that God was real, then why would you have a thought about God? Why would you think about God then? Huh? Can anybody answer that question for me? Can anybody just tell me? If you did not believe in God, then why would you have a thought about God? Why would you think about God? You wouldn't have. If you didn't believe in God, you wouldn't think about God. You wouldn't even know God exists. God exists. Okay? Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Okay? Now, I'm not saying that words mean everything. It's not words. If you would listen to what my series of questions, my series of ideas, what I was just saying, words come from thoughts. And in my opinion, I think that if you didn't have a thought about God, you wouldn't understand that God wasn't real if you didn't have that thought about God. But pretty much, God is pretty much programmed in every human brain, every human mind's brain out here. Because thus speaking, that all of us ourselves believe that there's some possibility of God. There's something. Everybody's programmed in their mind for that. Now, if you didn't believe in God, you pretty much wouldn't have that program inside your mind. You wouldn't believe that at all. Okay? That's what I think. Now, this video what I just did, this response may seem controversial. This I think this is pretty bad. This is a pretty bad thing I'm saying here. So just promise me guys that you're not gonna take my video too seriously on what I'm saying, but try to understand what I'm trying to say. Cause this is what I thought. Cause me and my friends were having an argument about God, saying that, oh man, I don't believe God doesn't exist or something like that. It can't be real. And he was basing off of science. Now, okay, that's cool and all. Science can explain a lot. It can. But reason why I think that science may not be able to prove that God exists, because our science today is not strong enough. Human beings pretty much are studying science. We hadn't studied science to the fullest. It hadn't, like I said, it's not strong enough. We hadn't studied it to the fullest. We need to get more into it. If pretty much a civilization today is going to get it more advanced and advanced and advanced, probably because of the human mind and what we can do. In my opinion, I think that we're all of a piece of God, pretty much. That's what I think, because or else you wouldn't have that program to believe, to have a thought about God. That's what I think. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video. I'm going to see you guys later, and I'll say peace.